And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. It's coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. Now the news in full. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno has directed the Office of the Accountant General of the state to implement the 80,000 naira minimum wage to 45,984 verified public servants in the state this January. A press statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ekaite Udo, says the payment is effective November 1st, 2025. Udo said the development followed the submission of the report by the Committee on the Implementation of the New Minimum Wage Personnel Verification, headed by the Head of Service, Elder Efyong Esen. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo has approved the recruitment of 500 teachers by the State Basic Education Board to boost learning. Commissioner for Education Dr. Emmanuel Iyamu disclosed this to newsmen shortly after resumption at the Ministry of Education in Benin City. Iyamu said the recruitment of the new teachers will be done in trenches, noting that the recruitment is geared to boosting the number of tutors presently operating across various public schools in the state. Beatrice Ekweremadu, wife of former Deputy Senate President Senator Ike Ekweremadu, had been released from prison in the United Kingdom. It had earlier been reported that Beatrice, who was sentenced to 5 years in UK prison, returned to the country on Tuesday. Workers under the Nigerian Meteorological Agency have issued a 14-day ultimatum to agencies and management to address long-standing welfare concerns of faced nationwide industrial strike. The union said this in a letter titled Failure to Respond to Lawful and Reasonable Demands, 14 Days Ultimatum. It was signed by Ocheme Abba of the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Sikira Wahid of the Amalgamated Union of Public Corporation Civil Service Technical and Recreational Services Employees, and Abdul Rashid Seidu of the Association of Nigerian Aviation Personnels. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo will today testify before the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, Paris, France, in connection with the $2.3 billion arbitration proceedings filed against Nigeria by Sunrise Power over an alleged breach of contract by the federal government. The chairman CEO of Sunrise Power, Lino Adesanya, had earlier testified before the ICC in connection with the $2.3 billion arbitration proceedings his company filed against Nigeria. Obasanjo, in an interview a year ago, queried his former Minister of Power, Olu Ogunloye, how he got the prerogative to award the contract to Sunrise in 2003. The federal government, through the National Information Technology Development Agency and Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU, has kick-started an initiative that will enhance the exit of the country from the Action Task Force grey list by May 2025. This initiative is a directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the NFIU to develop and implement an anti-money laundering, counter-financial terrorism, counter-proliferation of firearms data management framework and platform in collaboration with National Information Technology Development Agency. An inaugural technical session to kickstart the process at the agency's headquarters in Abuja, its Director General Kashifu Inuwa disclosed that the technical session will mark what he described as a remarkable mile in the country's journey to exit from the Financial Action Task Force grey list the nation has been enlisted into since February 2013. Overnight, an independent National Electoral Commission has stated that the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections will be held on February 21, 2026. The INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, stated this during a consultative meeting with political parties in Abuja. According to Yakubu, the last Area Council election in the FCT was held on February 12, 2022, adding that the tenure of the current chairman and councillors will end next year. The Senate expressed displeasure over failure to embark on population census in the country and ordered the National Population Commission, NPC, to ensure that the exercise is carried out this year. The order was given when the chairman of the NPC, Honorable Nasir Isa Kware, appeared before the Senate Committee on National Identity and Population to defend allocations to his agency in the 2025 budget. The committee, chaired by Senator Abdul Ningi, expressed anger over lack of headcounts in the country for the past 19 years. The Jigawa state government has revealed that properties worth staggering 5 billion naira were destroyed during the nationwide protest in August 2024. Chairman of the fact-finding committee on the protest, Barrister Bello Fanini, disclosed this while presenting the committee's report to Governor Umar Namadi at the council chambers of the government house in Dutse. Fanini, who also serves as a state commissioner for justice, stated that the destroyed properties belong to the federal, state and local government as well as private individuals. Vigilant members of the Nigerian Bar Association Udu branch in Delta State, led by David Omage, have apprehended a fake lawyer, Olubuwe Osai Silas. It was further reported that Silas was caught red-handed affixing a lawyer's seal to the document and preparing legal documents using lawyers' names. Chairman of NBA Udu branch, Edmond Odohisi, reported the incident and filed a formal complaint at Ovem Police Station, where Silas is currently being held. An officer of the Nigerian National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Kano Command sustained injuries during a violent confrontation with two suspects in Bebeje local government area, Kano State. The suspects, identified as Musa Usman, 25, and Buhari Ya Bashir, 24, were apprehended during a targeted operation at the Buhama roundabout on January 20, 2025. The NDLEA's public relations officer in Kano, Sadiq Mohammed Megatari, disclosed this in a statement. According to Megatari, the operation led to recovery of various qualities of illicit substances, including 1.1 kilogram of cannabis sativa, 8 grams of diazepam, and 59 grams of X-oil. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle on Global Television. It's coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, where News Cycle returns. South Korea to remove concrete walls near runways after deadly crash. We shall bring you those details as well as business and sports stories right after the break. Please stay with us. You are welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. On our business desk, Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative has asked the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms to provide a clear and detailed explanation of its plans to harmonize federal and state tax laws in the proposed tax reform bill submitted to the National Assembly for approval. It also asked the committee to clarify the roles of subnational governments in implementing the bills and identify areas needed to improve the policy gaps in the bill. The agency stated these in a statement signed and released by the Acting Director of Communications and Stakeholders Management, Obiageli Omnonura, following a detailed review of the draft legislation, which showed extensive research and consultation. The Nigerian Labour Congress has called for the resignation of the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, over the repeated collapse of national power grid. In a statement by the NLC President Joe Ajaero, the union expressed deep concern over the worsening state of Nigeria's electricity sector, which it described as being on the brink of total collapse. Ajaero also slammed the minister over the proposed allocation of 8 billion naira in the 2025 budget for sensitization of Nigerians on the need to pay electricity bills, accusing the ministry of power prioritizing frivolous projects over critical infrastructure. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, says 50% increase by telecommunication companies in the country was caused by inflation and the rising operation costs. He stated this while responding to questions at the 2025 budget defense session by the Joint House of Representatives and Senate Committee on Communication. He added that the move was in tandem with broader economic patterns where tariffs led to higher consumer price as a result of additional costs on imported goods and tariffs. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has urged telecom operators to prioritize service improvements following the recent approval of a 50% increase in the telecommunications tariffs by the Nigerian Communications Commission. In a statement released via its official X handle, FCCPC acknowledged the financial pressure faced by telecom operators due to the rise in operational costs, but emphasized that consumers' interests must remain central to any tariff adjustments. Now on, the National Pension Commission has revealed that the federal government has released an additional 22 billion naira through the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation for accrued pension rights of retirees in the MDAs under the Contributory Pension Scheme. In a statement released on its Instagram page, HT Pencom said it was for those who retired between October 2023 and January 2024. The pension regulator said these funds were disbursed into Retirement Benefits Bond Redemption Fund account at the Central Bank of Nigeria. The election of a new Teosech has been delayed after a bitter row in the Del Arish Parliament, forcing the suspension of proceedings twice. Ken Kamahali, Veronica Murphy called for a 15-minute suspension after Turchid Dalav refused to stop shouting at her and take their seats. After his room, several TDs continued to challenge her over a decision to allow independent TZs who are supporting the government to sit on the opposition's benches. And on the foreign news now, South Korea would change the concrete barriers used for navigation at the 9 airports across the country following December plane crash that killed 179 people. 7 airports will also have their runway safety areas adopted following a review of all South Korea's airports that was carried out after the crash, the deadliest in the country's history. The Jeju air flight was bringing passengers home from Thailand after Christmas when it made an emergency landing at Muan Airport and exploded after slamming into a concrete barrier at the end of the runway. At least 10 Palestinians have been killed and nearly 40 injured by Israel forces during a major operation in the Jenin area in the occupied West Bank, the Palestinian Health Ministry says. Palestinian media reported that there were several airstrikes as a large number of troops entered the city and its refugees camp backed by drones, helicopters and armored bulldozers. Israel's prime minister said it launched an extensive and significant operation to defeat terrorism in Jenin, long seen as strong hand of Palestinian armed groups. 11 people were killed Wednesday after rumors of a fire on their train caused them to jump off and were crushed to death by another incoming train, officials said. The incident in the western Maharashtra state is the latest to hit India's creaking rail network, which carries millions of passengers each day and has seen several disasters over the years. A spokesperson for India Railway was quoted by local media saying that someone had pulled the alarm chain on a Mumbai-bound train, following which a few passengers got down from the train. Meanwhile, the United States immigration authorities have been granted the ability to arrest individuals at schools, churches, and hospitals following President Donald Trump administration's reversal of policies that previously classified these locations as off-limits for enforcement. The policy change ends more than a decade of restrictions that protested these sensitive areas. The Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration and customs enforcement and customs and border protection, announced the change in a statement emphasizing the importance of eliminating spaces where individuals could evade arrest. Kenya has announced a shift in its travel policies, allowing citizens of nearly all African countries to visit without prior authorization. But the introduction of electronic travel authorization, which replaced the visa requirement for all visitors, was criticized as a visa under another name. The decision, confirmed by a cabinet statement, eliminates the need for electronic travel authorization for most African visitors apart from those from Somalia and Libya due to security concerns. Over now to our sports desk. Nigerian Premier Football League (NPFL) has launched its new official match balls produced by Poster Sports ahead of the second stanza of the 2023-24 season. The league body announced that the first batch of match balls was delivered earlier this week following extensive negotiations to ensure the balls met international football standards. NPFL chairman Benga Egbeleye explained that the delay in introducing the balls at the start of the season stemmed from the league's commitment to quality. Borussia Dortmund have sacked head coach Nuri Sahin following Tuesday's 2-1 Champions League loss of Bologna, citing a loss of faith in him. Dortmund, who were beaten finalists in the competition last season, have now suffered 4 consecutive defeats in all competitions in the Bundesliga. Dortmund currently sit 10th, 20 points behind leaders. Bayern Munich chairman media have reported that potential successors could include former Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag, who has been seen attending Dortmund games recently, or former Buffon and Bayer Leverkusen manager Roger Schmidt. And that's it on Global Television News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276, and free to air on Nicomsat. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.